Hello there, YouTube. Thank you for everyone who's watching these videos, liking, subscribing, commenting. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the growth in the last almost 2 weeks now that we're coming up on this channel. I'm gonna get right into it today. There's gonna be a part 1 and a part 2, just so that the videos are in shorter segments. Excuse the noise in the background. It's my washing machine. Gotta do laundry. Okay, so today's video, as in the title, is artist lifestyle, embracing the high highs and low lows, or embracing the high highs and the low lows. Hi, low low. It sounds like a song. I don't know. I really wanted to call it riding the wave, embracing the high highs and the low lows, but it just feels like people won't know what area of life I'm talking about, and this is an industry-based channel for the most part, so I am going to make this more specific to being a performing artist and what comes with that. So anyways, I think everyone knows that, I have little notes here, but I think everyone knows that choosing to go into the performing arts means choosing a lifestyle that can sometimes feel very unpredictable. And I think there's a lot of pros and cons to that. I think if you're someone who likes adventure and who loves new experiences, it's a great industry to be a part of, because you're always finding new ways to be creative. You're often, there it is, you're often meeting new people. No, I'm not restarting this video. So you're often meeting new people and really creating memories that will hopefully last a lifetime. Some are good, some are not as good, in the sense that some experiences are more positive than others, but you live and you learn. That's in any field as well. So this is, again, I have some basic notes, but I just want to say, I think the more that we can just embrace the fact that we are signing up, what we're signing up for, which is knowing that there's some areas in your life that are going to be unknown as a performer when it comes to how you might transition later in your career, or what contract you're going to into the next, or what companies you're working with, what work you're going to make and produce potentially. And so the more you can embrace and live in peace with yourself of, okay, this month is going to look different than the month before, or this year might unfold in a whole new way than last year did. I cannot share enough that has been my journey, at least, as someone who's not really in one particular niche within dance, or even in a way with acting right now. I've definitely had more experience within some areas than others, but I'm really someone who has dabbled across the board in my career, where I've been able to work in a lot of different kind of realms, capacities, and mediums, and I enjoy that. But with that comes a lot of change, a lot of constant change, a lot of new situations, a lot of allowing things to unfold and unravel, and just going on this roller coaster of, okay, how something new is happening, let me try this. Now, some people embrace their career in a lot more, I don't want to say narrow-minded, but perhaps with a very intensely focused lens, where they really know, okay, this is the one area I really want to work in. I don't see that happen as often for people who want to keep working and to work for a long time, but I have seen it happen. Some in the dance world, with particularly with concert dancers who have kind of stayed in that realm within the contemporary world, or commercial dancers who have stayed very in the contemporary lane. But I've seen a lot of people kind of move around, especially, in my opinion, some of the top actors and dancers, like the high performing or bigger names. I have seen them kind of like evolve their career, where they might be hosting, they might be acting, they might be dancing, they might be choreographing, and it's a lot more broad. So that being said, unless you're really in a very specialized area within your field as a performer, there's going to be a lot of unknowns, a lot of waves. And even if you're already established and successful, there's still going to be unknowns because you're still growing and going into new projects and new ways to express yourself creatively, to tell new stories. And that's part of riding with the culture as the culture changes, or also being part of the change in the culture, also being someone, a pioneer for change. That's what artists do, you know? I mean, I think if you're making strong, powerful art, that's what you're doing. You're helping shift culture for the better, hopefully, or provoke thought. So that's the biggest thing, and I'm sharing this also just, I'm not telling anyone who's already a professional something they probably don't already know, but this in part is really to share with those of you who have professional performing artists in your life, or who are thinking of going into the industry, or maybe you're still in school. But again, my community primarily is in New York City, but I'm not, what was I gonna say? I do follow a lot of like pop culture and celebrities and watch a lot of interviews of successful, like famous people in the industry. And so I think there have been some through lines across the board. It's like when you see the Hollywood Reporter actors on actors interviews, they're talking about their films and their projects, and each project was so different, and they learned something new from it. They were stretched in a different way. They had to learn new skill sets for the job usually. So I just shared this saying, this is a pretty, I think safe to say, general known fact. Okay, so riding the high highs and the low lows. I think for part one, I'm going to focus on, I'm debating. I'm going to focus on the highs of it all. And I think that's especially because in the last 2 weeks, I feel like things have gotten so high and so low for me in like within the same day based off of certain circumstances that have been arising, where it's like I'm feeling incredibly optimistic that this year there might be some openings for me to enter spaces that I feel I truly aligned with the stories I want to tell, that I think I can tell appropriately and be part of the representation that I want to be part of. And honestly, like dream scenarios, they're out there, they're happening. I'm finally at a place where I feel more confident to enter into those spaces, where I feel more equipped, that I've done some of the work that I needed to do to be there. And there's still so many unknowns, you know? And with those unknowns is knowing that you can't guarantee that all these things you dream about or you're hoping for are gonna happen in the timeline you want. But it's really about staying true to that inner voice, and that voice that is telling you there's something here, there's something there, stick to it. And that's probably why I'm still here after having a lot of ups and downs. Over the years, I've been very blessed. Like, I've had really good opportunities, but I've also dealt with a lot of negative experiences along the way, as we all have. But it's been challenging. It's been very challenging to sustain myself kind of mentally, emotionally, and physically in this particular city and in the area of the industry I'm a part of. But I'm still here because I still believe in that inner voice, and because those high highs have come right when I needed them. And it's as small as paychecks coming in when I'm at the end of my rope and I'm like, what's going on? Or getting emails or texts or calls about something where I'm feeling like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then someone reaches out to me, and it's with more chances and opportunities for me to be within my field. And these things, it's been the pattern. They happen right when I'm feeling like, oh no, what is going on? What's next? What's gonna happen? And you know, sometimes they've come in waves. Oh my goodness, they have come in waves where it's just so funny how life works. Because there's some years I've had and I'm like at the top of my physical performance, but maybe I'm about to get burnt out because I've been overdoing it, because I am doing a lot of shows, but I'm not having enough of a personal life, or and having to miss out on some areas of my social life in order to keep performing. There's other times where my personal life is blossoming in new ways, but maybe my financial life is suffering, or my spiritual health is not as strong, or I'm trying to think what else. But why I say that, it goes back to the unknowns, but it goes to these high highs. Because there are years where I've had one year, 2018, back to back, I had adventure, new experiences. I went as a teaching artist to India. I joined a Latin dance company and started learning Latin dance for the first time and connecting to my roots and my heritage more. I went on my first Tollywood tour, it was like Bollywood tour, and I'll share this here, and then met my significant other on the tour. That happened later, but and I met good friends through that, and then I was with the companies I was with or am with, and then I did my first professional play, and I learned how to roller skate in a play. I already knew how to roller skate, but it was so exciting, like doing a play in New York City. And then I went and got my first equity contract at the end of that year and doing a play in Michigan and doing my first like real acting role, like with real lines in a professional job. And I share all that because even that year, to start the year, I started teaching heels more. I was with adults. It was like the flow. I was in some kind of flow, and I don't know how it happened or why it happened. I wasn't doing anything differently I wasn't really doing anything differently because I've always been kind of on my path. But that year was just the year it happened. It just started happening to me without me even trying as hard. It was just falling into place, one thing after another. But you know what was happening that year? In my romantic life, it was terrible that year. Like I felt, I only share that because, you know, not everyone feels the need to be in relationships or anything like that, but it was just ironic, right? It's like, okay, I have one piece of the puzzle and it's finally coming together and this is it, this is my moment. And then one area of your life is suffering. And I think that's part of the design somehow. I don't know. It's just like there's always gonna be something, right? I will give you an honest example for my life right now. I feel like I'm in a really good place with, you know, my personal life and having clarity of like being surrounded by great people and good people and feeling loved and feeling I can give love, and also being aware of my mental health and knowing I need to work more on my spiritual health, but also physically, like even in the last month, physically being like, okay, I'm doing dry January, I'm cutting down on carbs, like little things that I'm doing, making changes that I'm like, oh, this feels good. I'm proud of myself. I feel better about myself just through these small things. But it's been a very strange time in other areas in like my financial health going into the ending 2021 and going into 2022. Even though I feel I have a wellspring, if that's the right word, of opportunities artistically, creatively, just even in my side jobs. It's like I went into 2022 thinking, oh my goodness, what's happening? Cancellations, like what am I gonna do? And I started this channel, and slowly but surely, it only took about a week, and then things started piecing together. Things are coming back, they're coming together, you know? And it's just like we see with the spikes, right? With the COVID, with these surges, and with these new variants, it's like there's waves where things change again, and they're unknown and they're uncertain, and we're all struggling together. And there's times where it goes down and we're getting hopeful and excited, and you know, it's been about 2 years of that, of the whole world together, dealing with these highs and lows and these waves. And I think there's something to be said about that. I don't know why it's having to happen on a global scale. But I know for me personally, as an artist, that keeps me encouraged. It's like, you know what? It's not just me, and it's not just me as me, a human, Emily, dealing with this, or me, the artist, Emily, dealing with this great thing and then this negative thing, and you know, it's part of life. It's part of the pattern of life. So the more we can accept that, I think the more the highs and the lows won't feel as devastating or as overwhelming, because you'll be able to embrace it and accept that's part of my journey, that's part of my wave. So when I say I'm talking about the highs, it's just like, yes, this is so exciting when you get that email or you did the work and you did something and you're like, I did that. And that happened to me yesterday and even this morning. It was like high and then a little low. And it's just so funny because I finally, I put in this tape. I felt good and hopeful, you know. I heard emails back. I got a call about something else, and it's like, okay, momentum, and things that, I'm excited for, you know. And then, but still knowing, I don't know what's going to happen. I have to wait. And then, you know, going to rehearsal and being like, yes, I'm sweating, I'm moving, this is great, I'm with good people, we're doing great things. And then within that same day, getting one of the most exciting moments happening, thinking, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have an opportunity that I've been wanting for a long time. And you know, some people don't care that much, but I really care about this, and blah, 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 blah. And then it didn't happen. All within, you know, a couple of hours. And realizing that's part of life. Keep trying, try again. Keep trying, try again. And if it's not working, try something different, try it a new way. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? So I'm gonna actually wrap up part 1 here because I'm trying to make my video shorter now so that people will watch for the whole video. So that's the end of part 1 of just the awareness around these roller coasters, working in the arts, and a little glimpse at talking about the highs. So part 2, I'll see you there.